So today is going to be a little bit, I guess, just information more than math, but I can ask you any of these parts on any assessment, not just this one coming up. Okay, so insuring a vehicle. If you live in Manitoba and you own a vehicle, you need vehicle insurance. No surprise, right? The Manitoba Public Insurance Corporation provides basic automobile insurance for all Manitobans. This program is called AutoPack, right? So the insurance that covers vehicles is called AutoPack. MPI is a non-for-profit or not-for-profit corporation. It's a crown corporation, which means it's owned by the government. It's accountable to the people of Manitoba through provincial government. AutoPack is vehicle insurance that compensates you for vehicle damage and your injuries, right? Compensates you for vehicle damage and injuries. It will also compensate others rather than you having to pay them yourself. So I always use the example, my wife actually had a checkup with our newborn, a 3-month checkup or something like that, and she actually got into a car crash. Luckily, nothing happened. But both of them injured themselves, right? Like my wife kind of injured her neck, and our little one had to go for physio as well for like over a year for physio, and that's super expensive. It adds up, right? Every time you see it, it's 50, $60 or more, but that was all covered. So sometimes we just think of the vehicle, but it will also cover injuries that you or the other party might endure, right? So got to make sure that is covered. And sometimes, I don't know, there's a lot of expenses that we don't always think of, but definitely is covered. Provinces such as Alberta, though, they already have private companies, right? I think it's at some point it's going to come to Manitoba, but having more companies means that the prices are going to go down because there's more competition. Some people argue that, but that's usually what happens. Insuring your vehicle, some of the things that you need is, I put them here in bold, but a basic coverage, here, a basic coverage covers basic all perils coverage. There's a personal injury protection plan, and there's a basic third-party liability. Okay, so every AutoPack coverage has these three right from the get-go. You can't say I don't want that. That comes with insurance. This coverage, the basic all perils, compensates Manitobans against accidental loss or damage to their vehicle. It could be in Canada or the US. That's important to note, right? It doesn't say Mexico here, so it's just Canada, US. The personal injury protection plan, right? As you might well see by the title here, compensates Manitobans for specific costs, right? It compensates costs from the injuries or death, right? Does not matter who's at fault, whether the accident occurred in Canada or the US. It's important to know, right? Like some of you go to the States, right? It's good to know that you're also covered there. You don't need to buy extra insurance for that. The third-party liability provides Manitobans up to $10,000 of coverage for claims made against them. Watch this. These claims may be for damage to their vehicle caused by someone else's vehicle, injuries, in an accident outside of Manitoba, and the minimum coverage for third-party liability is $200,000. You do have an option to go 1 million, 2 million, 5, 7, or up to 10 million. It's going to cost you more, right? The higher up you go this amount increases, I will put this down, increases insurance premiums. Obviously, the more third-party liability you get, the more expensive your premium is going to be. However, it's not much. You will see, I will calculate this with you in a bit. It's not much. I will tell you what else third-party liability covers. If you, let's say you cut off a semi loses control, the whole trailer flips, all the goods that were in there are all busted, it's garbage now, everything is broken. That needs to be covered. So Autopack would use your third-party liability to cover those costs. Let's say you're parked at 7-Eleven and instead of reverse, you go forward and you drive into the store, right? Or you swerve and you lose control and you actually smash into a store. You could pay damages for the building, damages to the stuff they sell, and maybe you might injure someone. So that all is covered under third-party liability, right? So I would not just stick with the 200,000. I would go 2, 5, 7 million, somewhere in here. And when you go to the agent, you tell them, I do it all the time, how much does 2 million cost me? And they'll give you the yearly amount, right? Well, how about 5 million? And it will go up by maybe $40 a year to get that extra coverage, right? So don't just stick with the basic, go 1 million or up, right? I would suggest that. It doesn't cost that much more and it gives you a bit more peace of mind there. Okay, let's keep going. If you go to page 77, in addition to the basic coverage, right, there's also optional Autopack coverage. Optional coverage is a range of insurance choices to increase your coverage, such as, right, you can obviously increase your third-party liability. You can increase or decrease the deductible. And I will give you this. The choices here would be 1 million. 1 second. I forgot already. 2 million, 5 million, 7 million, or 10 million, right? I'll just do that. Deductible, we'll talk a little bit about deductibles now, but you have choices. I'll tell you, see page 81 for deductible. 4 choices. See page 81. Write that down as to what choices you have when it comes to deductibles. So watch this. I'm going to highlight only the important things here. I'm going to use maybe orange for the next part, but this is actually very important. It comes up quite often. Your deductible, right, is the amount you are responsible for paying when you make a claim for any out-of-pocket claim. Okay. Your insurance covers the amount over your deductible. Okay. I have to add in brackets at fault claim. That is important too. So if you make a claim but somebody rear-ended you, right? That's not your fault. Most of the time it's the other person's fault. So you wouldn't be paying a deductible because you're not at fault. Okay? At fault claims only. Okay, your ARPA claim is completed when you got into an accident, there's damage done to your vehicle, or your vehicle is stolen. To make an AutoPack claim, you need to report all of the relevant information about the incident. Trust me, this is very painful. It sometimes is like lengthy. They go through all these questions that they just have to ask you, right? But you need to answer them as best you can. After assessing the damage, AutoPack will tell you how much you're covered for and how much you need to pay out of your pocket. How much you need to pay out of your own pocket. And that is generally, how much you need to pay is generally the amount of your deductible. Okay. What do I have here? I will say this one more time. Nice. This has to be so clear so you have no excuses. The amount you pay when making an at-fault claim. I hope you can read that. The amount you pay when you're making an at-fault claim. And I will pause here. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to skip this a little bit, okay? Actually, I'm going to talk about this and then I will skip. Things that affect your auto-pack rate. Here we go. Where is this? Things that affect your rate. Here they are. Where you live, what you use the vehicle for, your actual vehicle, and your driving record. Those are the main things that affect how much you're going to pay. Okay? And I will show you that. What you use your vehicle for, this is, you need to know this. It's all purpose. That's the one most of us get. There's leisure or pleasure. There's layup. That is for storage. And I didn't know this, but I checked it out today. There's actually farm. So obviously using it when you're living on a farm. I think we can just talk about this. I don't think you need to write. All purpose, the name kind of says it all. You can use it for anything. You can drive as much as you want, no limit. Leisure or pleasure, that's when you have a classic car and you're just going to take it for a spin. There's a limit of the amount of times in a week you can drive and also the kilometers you can drive. So don't cheap out and try to get that, right? Just go for all purpose. It's not a whole lot of savings. I asked once, it's not a whole lot of savings. During COVID, when we were allowed to stay home, it was like peanuts, like nothing. So I'm like, no, just leave it all purpose. Then there's layup. This is when you leave the country, like when you go overseas, you travel, you're not going to use it for a month or two, just pay layup. But you need to make sure it's parked on your driveway or on a private property, not on the street. You cannot leave it on the street. If it gets hit, you're not covered. Okay, so it's just for fire, theft, stuff like that. Farm vehicles, right? So you're most likely not going to go on a highway. You're probably staying on the farm, so it's probably a lot less. It's a lot cheaper, right? So those are that's what you put there. Vehicle, I'm not going to say, right? There's so many vehicles. And your driving record, that would be merits versus demerits. And I think you all will know what that is when you get your license, right? I think it's safe to say that you know what those are. Merits and demerits give you, demerits are bad, no discount. But the more merits you have, the more of a discount you get, and I will show you that in a bit. Let's go to page 81. Now, this is where I'm skipping because I don't think you want to know all of these. Like, doesn't matter. You can't change where you live necessarily because you'd have to move up north. The further up north you go, the cheaper insurance your insurance rate. 81, right there. Deductible choices. So highlight that. Your deductible choices. This is a little bit dated, but as of April 1st, 2021 or later, Basic deductible is $750. But you have choices. Watch. Your deductible options are right here. Right up here. So you've got 5 options. 750, 500, 300, 200 standard, or 200 plus. I'll tell you this, guys. Write this down. The further to the right you go here, more expensive. The further to the right you go on this chart, the more expensive your insurance is. So if I give you a question, you know, Sandra has a $500 deductible. What can she do to reduce her premium? You would say, go for a $750 deductible, right? But don't say go for a 300 because the more you go to the right, the more expensive your premium is going to be. Why is that, guys? Why is it that the higher your premium, or the higher your deductible, as you go lower on your deductible, why is it that your insurance gets more expensive? Anybody brave enough to answer? Okay, so if you have an accident here, if this is what you chose, you're gonna pay $750. You pay $750 out of your pocket. If you choose a $300 deductible and you have an accident, you're gonna pay $300. You see how that goes? If you have a 200 standard, you're gonna pay $200. If you have 200 plus, you're still gonna pay $200. But the smaller your deductible, watch this, guys. The lower your deductible, the higher your insurance will be because you're more likely to make a claim. You are more likely to make a claim if it's 200 than if you had to pay $750 out of your own pocket. Does that make sense? Right? So let's say you have a bumper, like your bumper is cracked. You drove it into the snow. You were parking. You didn't think that it was so low. Crack. Your whole bumper is gone. Like it's just cracked. It doesn't look good. If you have a $750 deductible, you're probably not going to make a claim. You probably might look into somebody like fixing it privately, right? But if you have a $200 deductible, it's like, oh, it's only going to cost me $200, and the shop, like AutoPack, takes care of the rest. Okay, right? Like more likely to make a claim because it costs you less out of pocket. Okay. Another thing here, this is actually straight from their website. Look at this. Look at the nils here. So if there's a collision, right, across the board, you pay your deductible. No option there. But if there's a theft, somebody steals your car or tries to steal your car, watch this. Under the 200 standard and the plus, you don't pay anything. Somebody smashes your window or they use a crowbar to try to bust your door open or your trunk, it's not going to cost you anything. So that's kind of cool, right? Glass replacement, you would have to pay your deductible for all one. Glass repair, watch this, you don't pay anything under the 200 plus. You know those little booths at the grocery stores, like in the summer in the parking lots? That's free. Like if you have a little chip on your window, they'll fix that. It's free. Collision with an animal, you have to pay for the first two, but then these 3 deductibles here, you don't, right? You don't pay anything. So if you travel on the highway a lot, you hit a deer, you might want to just stick with this one, right? Or this one. Vandalism, right? Vandalism, somebody keys your car, right? Somebody doesn't like you, nil, right? No deductible paid here under this one. So there's a lot of advantages. Even if it costs you more, it is still advantageous to go with a 200 plus. Okay. Teachers should all have this one, right? if a kid doesn't like you, they go and key your car, right? So it's good to have the 200 plus if you're a teacher to be safe. Anyways, not that you would ever do that. So I have that. I talked about that. Now we're going to do what I promised. I just want you to look and follow, okay? I want you to be educated when it comes to insurance. So what do we have? So I'm just going to go random here, right? I'm not looking, right? I'm just going to go a random one. Okay, let's see here. A 2019 Acura TLX. All right. So you Google insurance rate calculator MPI, something like that. And so it says here, I don't know if you see that, your vehicle, right? Your vehicle's risk of a claim is one of the 4 factors that determine the autopack rate. So vehicle type, so we're going to go passenger vehicle. And we're going to go, we're going to enter a year, 2019. This makes, and then we're going to pick a car. So that's an Acura. Hey, that's easy. Acura. And it's a TLX right there. Right there, TLX right here. So select that. Continue. Wi-Fi, it's great. Eh? So watch this. The territory where you live, which we established by postal code, is the second factor that determines your premium. So where you live. So I'm just going to put in Sisler's R2X 0Z1. Are you a Manitoba resident? Yes, I am. And then the third, so we just need to verify it. Now we can continue. Watch this. The third factor is how you use your vehicle. So we're going to make a selection here. And that's where your 4 choices are, right? All-purpose, farm, layup, pleasure. We're going to go all-purpose. Continue. And here are some of the options you can add. Watch, right? Your driving record, that will give you a discount. Okay. I will show you the rate discount. Watch this. I have it on another tab, right here. If you go AutoPack driver safety rating, if you have, this is new, I didn't know that, 17 merits gets you a 40% discount, guys. 40%. So at 15 and up, it's 40% off. That's crazy. You save a lot of money. So I don't know. You want to go no discount? Maybe go no discount, right? I'm going to go no discount because you're all fairly young. And here's your deductible. I'm going to go with a $750 deductible at first. Then it says, what level of third-party liability would you like? And, oh, 500,000 is the lowest, so they changed it. I'm going to go 2 million. Would you like additional loss of use coverage? You know what that is? If your car is in the shop, you get a rental. They pay for your rental in the meantime while they figure out what's going to happen. Because sometimes it takes a while for them to even determine whether or not your car is a write-off, right? Because you got to take it to the shop. The shop says, hey, it's going to take $5,000. The shop sends it to AutoPack. AutoPack says, go ahead, or no, we won't pay for it. It's write-off, right? So so I'm not going to go for it. I'm not going to go for it. Would you like new vehicle protection? And watch this. If your vehicle is worth more than 70,000, right, you need to buy extra. So if your car is more than 70,000, you need to buy extra coverage for that, which I don't think we have to. And then lastly, what payment would you like? We're going to go 12 pre-authorized payments. Calculate. Let's see if our Wi-Fi cooperates. So watch this. Right here, you see 2022 rates right here. It's 2,337. Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a year. Okay, so this would be your monthly payment. Almost 200 bucks a month. But watch this, we can change insurance right here at the top. You can change vehicle, change insurance. I'm going to change insurance, and I'm going to say that I have a 37% discount. I qualify for that. Anyways, so then, right, it goes down. Instead of 195 a month, it's 127 a month. It's quite a bit of a savings, right? Wasn't it almost $2,000 earlier? And now it's 1,500, right? So the discount, your driver's rating does help. Another thing here, guys, watch this. For third-party liability, how much are you paying for that? $8. That's all you're paying for it. So it's worth it going millions, right? Don't stick with the lowest. It's not a whole lot of money you're gonna have to pay for that. Okay. One more thing, change insurance. So this was a $750 deductible. If I went with the 200 plus, it goes up, what was it, 1,500 earlier, now it's 1,700. So it does go up a little bit, but for me, peace of mind, it's worth it. It's worth it getting that extra coverage, right? You don't have to pay for deer collision or vandalism or anything like that. Another car, so I'm gonna just go random here. Oh, okay. Ooh, we're going way back. Okay, start new estimate. We're gonna go car. So you just sit back and relax, guys. This is 1969. 1969. This makes. We're gonna go Mustang. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I see. That'd be a Ford, right? Ford. Mustang. Oop. Sorry, guys. Mustang Boss. Ooh. Let's see if we find that. Oh yeah, right there. 429. There is no 429 here. There's only a 428. Is that close enough? Close enough? Okay. Ooh, it goes even. 8-cylinder. They're both the same. So I'm just going to select one of them. Continue. I need to look up what that car looks like, actually. Let's see how much this will be. I'm curious to see. It's thinking. It's like I can't go that far back. Oh, we're going to just continue. There is this a collector vehicle? Yes, yeah. So that would be all purpose. So is it, you'd be using it, well, let's go all purpose. Why not? Continue. I'm going to keep my discount. No, let's do no discount for now. We're going to keep everything else the same. Calculate. Ooh, that's cheap. 992 a year. I'm just curious what it would be leisure, okay? So remember this number, 992. I'm going to go change insurance. Oh no, change vehicle use. That's what I should have done. Let's click that. I'm going to go pleasure. Oh, there's collector as well. I'm going to go pleasure. Calculate. It's a little bit less for pleasure. That's what I mean. It's not always worth it going for pleasure. But now I'm curious. If I go collector, errors, deductible is not selected. Oh, I want 200 plus, and third-party liability, I'm going to go 2 million. And if you have a motorcycle, you can also do, oof, look at this, guys. If it's a collector, if you do it under collector, you only pay $464 a year. What do you know? That's nothing. I would want to know what it means to it being a collector. Like, how often can you drive it, right? Like, you would want to look into that before you go for it. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish I could do all of your cars,